What's up, guys? Back with another edition of this podcast that has been going not quite as consistent of a basis of uploading as I'd hoped, but been going well overall. I'm just enjoying doing it, and whatever it yields in terms of results, we'll settle that as we go. But welcome back again. If you're new to the channel, please check out my previous content. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as it helps me out tremendously trying to get that subscriber count up so I can do this as a career to some extent, or at least get the word out there, get the name out there, and will hopefully build something good here going forward. So anyway, again, welcome back, and I hope that you enjoy this one because it has been relevant. And again, I apologize for the glare in my glasses. I'm recording on my computer, as I have been for the last few. Probably will be going forward as well, just as a heads up. This is relevant, and yet, I could have done this last week, but I don't want anybody to, confuse and say, oh, you're just being biased, and it's all sour grapes because of the Bears. No, it's not like that. It's bad. In the NFL, it's bad. The officiating right now in the National Football League is atrocious at best. And it's been like that for a little while, and the league almost seems like they are in support of that. It seems like the National Football League is almost encouraged and invigorated by the fact that these officials are doing terribly. In most instances, terribly. So, I don't even know where to start with this one. And yet, I've tried to take these few days to sort of rationalize and actually get structure to what I have to say on it. But yet, we continue to have this problem over and over and over and over again. And what's the problem? Some of these officials take over the games. And look, sometimes, you know what? Sometimes it's just coincidental. A penalty needs to be called in any sport at a critical juncture in the contest. That's part of life, and that happens. It's sometimes just unfortunate timing. But this is beyond belief now. As now, apparently, looking at a sideline, there's a 15-yard penalty, and worthy of a I don't even know what the official knows, multiple $1,000 fine. That's where we are. We have officials that are running these things, that are running these games, and they're not letting anybody, players, coaches, anybody, decide what's going to happen. And this is just ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. And even more ridiculous that the NFL stands by this. Bears have gotten robbed for sure once, maybe even twice this year, and other teams as well. And there's the notion, right? The notion that the NFL knows who they want in the postseason. And the NFL tries to dismiss that as saying, well, that's just, conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat material from those who won't be there or aren't good enough to be there. And for a while, I thought they were right. But now you just don't know. Because the sensible thing to do is to say, from this point forward, referees are held accountable. They're held accountable the same way a player and a coach is held accountable. How so? Players and coaches oftentimes get fired. Like so many other people, they get fired. They get cut. for making mistakes that cost their teams the games. Fair or not, and I don't vouch for people to lose their jobs. It's not cool. It's not something you can ever say lightly. But those people lose their jobs for that. If a receiver, especially, we're talking about preseason, if a receiver that's maybe played well the entire preseason and training camp drops a pass in the third preseason game that turns out to be a critical drop, they could be handed their papers the next morning. They could be handed a cardboard box and the trash bags to clean their locker out. Coaches that make dumb decisions, normally it's not one game, but at least a couple, risk getting fired. General managers who pick multiple draft busts, or even just a couple, risk getting fired. And again, I'm not saying that like, oh, it's a good thing and we should want people to lose their jobs, because what gets lost in all of this is that these are people, these are good people, they have families, they need to support them as well, and they're trying the best they can, and people make mistakes, but sometimes that's just not acceptable. And so where's the discipline? When do eventually you say that officials getting calls so egregiously incorrect that now they get fined, that now they have to miss a game, that now they get fired? When does that start coming? When does that start to happen and we set the precedent that it's time to put pressure on these people as well? And look, I mean, especially for the people that we barely know their names, let alone their backstories and their personal lives, not to the degree that we know that the players and the coaches, but to those people, you have to do the same job, and you have to be held to the same standard, and you have to be as good as they are. And maybe it's even unfair. Maybe it's even unfair in the sense that, well, they play every down. The players play half of them. Statistically, sometimes not even that much. And I respect that. And I respect that it's tough, and especially in football, it's so fast-paced. It's so incredibly fast-paced, that game, that things get missed. And it happens. These are human beings. But it's 2021. And that alone leads me to my next point here. It's 2021. You have all these cameras. You have all these people that are working on this. And you can't take a call that's missed and figure it out and within a minute have it fixed? I mean, who cares what it was like way back then? They got calls more wrong. Or wrong more often. In a different time period, and supposedly it's supposed to be better now. It's not. There are just some that are just so bad, and you have replay. You have somebody whose sole job it is to sit there in the booth and look at every single play, and then you have an entire team full of people that sit there at the NFL offices in New York and do the exact same thing. They have the authority to buzz to those officials, to contact them, and they don't do it. So that as far as I'm concerned, whatever excuse you have for making consistently bad calls and not overturning them is just ridiculous. And it becomes more and more apparent by the day that what the NFL did in 2019 to say coaches could challenge penalties was just a joke. Or it was treated like a joke anyway. Not many ever got overturned to the point where the NFL took it away last year. Took away the right to challenge a critical pass interference or subjective holding penalty. Now you can only challenge too many men on the field. That's it. You can only challenge that one. A 5-yard penalty. A 40-yard pass interference, a block in the back that takes away potentially a touchdown. You can't challenge those, but you can challenge too many men on the field or too few men, whatever it is, 10 or 12. You can challenge that. You can't challenge, a personal foul penalty, a face mask penalty that could greatly alter the course of the game. You can't do that. But you can challenge something that's so minuscule. They made it that way. It's almost laughable. It's almost laughable that, we can't, in 2021, get these calls right. And then to come out later in the week and say, oh, we missed one. Yeah, we know you missed one. We all saw it, as you did. We saw it. So there's no need to apologize and get pity or anything like that. There's need to fix it. Roger Goodell, fix the problem. To NFL, to everyone in the National Football League's officiating department, fix the problem. It's not that difficult. There's simple solutions. You have people that stare at every play of every game in New York, at the stadium. They'll see what's going on. They see the problem, and they could very easily fix it. It doesn't require the referee to go over to that little Microsoft Surface tablet that they have in place of the old booth that had the pullover curtain thing that they used to have back on the sidelines. There's no necessity to bring them over. You can just buzz down that little earpiece and say, this is what it was. This is what it should be. But they don't do that. And I don't get why. It's easy to fix. Very, very easy to fix. And the NFL needed to do it a long time ago. Alright, so that's going to wrap it up here for today. I'm going to cut a little bit short. It's a bit late, so again, expect an episode tomorrow, hopefully. Until then, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.